This is Lady D from NYC, coming to you with accountability. And my thought today is the greatest weapon. I was reflecting back on one of my favorite, all-time favorite movie series, The Matrix. Here it is. A lot of us do not yet realize that we are living in the Matrix. And pretty much this earth realm that we're operating in is just like that movie. Think about it. When Neo and Morpheus, every time they enter the Matrix, there's a whole world going on in there. A whole world, whole created world. And all the people in that world are walking around like we do, living their lives, going to their jobs, doing whatever. And there are only a few that are mindful of what's really happening. We've got the forces of good and the forces of evil. We've got Neo, who is the one, and then we've got the Smiths. Interesting stuff. Because if you watch those movies on a spiritual level, the story is very, very different. This is what I want to share with you today. Neo does not rise to who he is until he changes his mind. And so it is with us. He was always powerful. He was powerful from the beginning of the movie. He just didn't know how powerful he was. Nobody ever told him. He was never taught. As a matter of fact, he embraced the things that he had been taught throughout his entire life. And that's what he wrapped his brain around, just like we do. We were taught to wrap our mind around certain things, certain behaviors, the way society expects us to react, the things religion has bound us and taught us to do. And by being bound in these boundaries, these boxes, we don't come to the full awareness of who we really are, just like Neo. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and as I was relating this to them, there was one scene in The Matrix that really stuck to my gut. There was a scene where Neo was faced with a whole bunch of Smiths, and they've got guns pointed at him, and they were about to take him down with a barrage of bullets. Now, he's in the Matrix. And within the Matrix, what happens is what your mind allows. Now, you know what? In this earth realm, there are things we have control of. There are things we don't have control of. But we sure got control of our mind and how we think and how we process information and how we react and how we respond. And when Neo was faced with that barrage of bullets that were about to take his life, he knew who he was. And he simply held up his hand, and when they fired at him, the bullets dropped to the ground. His mind had finally processed who he was and just how powerful he is. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, it's all in our head. A lot of the stuff that we allow ourselves to go through is all in our head. We like to say the cup is half empty or the cup is half full. It is based on perspective. It is what is in your mindset. It is what you're going to allow yourself to believe and to accept. I spoke to someone the other day who had an ongoing family situation for years and always felt like the underdog. And they flat out said to me, I am bitter. And I told them, well, you can stop being bitter. And they said, how? I said, just stop being bitter. It's simple, profound truth. You can stop right now going through a lot of stuff that you are going through if you really think about it. If you change your mind, you can stop that barrage of bullets. Just by saying, I'm not going to allow this anymore. I'm not going to allow this one to beat me down. I'm not going to allow that one to abuse me. I'm not going to allow that one to offend me or assault my spirit or attack me in any way. I'm just not going to allow it. You can stop a whole lot of stuff. The greatest weapon is your mind. The greatest weapon is how you perceive and process what information you've been given. In order to rise above, we have to think differently. You can think differently. You have to just allow yourself to think differently. Aren't you worth it? Don't you have value? Aren't you somebody? You're not here to be assaulted and torn to pieces. You're here to love. You're here to release love into the world, light into the world. Everybody wants to run around talking about how the Bible says, let your light so shine. Well, when do you start to do that? You can't do that when you allow yourself to continue to be beaten down. You can put a stop to a lot of things that are happening in your life just by deciding you will no longer accept it. Neo wasn't about to stand there and get gunned down. He said, nope, it ain't going down like this. And he made it stop. By the time the Matrix series was over, Neo knew he could fly, and he took flight. I believe I can fly. How about you? This is Lady D from NYC. Love, light, peace, blessings to you. Change comes by the renewing of the mind. Change your mind.